This submitter was headed home after filling up his tank. As he pulled out onto the road, the passenger of a pickup truck turning the other way flipped him off for no reason. So he returned the favor, admittedly not the best move. A while later, he noticed the same pickup racing up behind him. The driver overtook him before slamming on the brakes, bringing them both to a standstill. Then, the driver got out and started inviting our submitter to fight him. Instead of accepting this invitation, he drove around the deranged man to get away. When he did, the pickup driver slapped his side mirror, shattering the glass, cracking the cover, and chipping the passenger window. Our submitter pulled in front of him and took a quick video of his license plate with his phone. The pickup driver must have realized that he'd committed a crime because he reversed away as our submitter filmed him. Thanks to the dashcam footage, it didn't take long for our submitter to find the guy and take him to court. He never once showed remorse, repeating that this all could have been avoided if only our submitter hadn't flipped him off, as if he then had no choice but to react with violence. Needless to say, this excuse didn't work with the judge. The attacker has to pay our submitter almost $600 to fix his mirror, which is actually less than the total repair bill. I guess our submitter felt generous, even though the other guy doesn't feel bad at all. Sebastian is an Uber driver in Mexico. Just before the incident we're about to see, he was assaulted and robbed. He was headed home and he was so emotional he didn't realize how fast he was going. He took a turn too fast, about 75 miles per hour, and lost control, spinning into the guardrail. Fortunately, the guardrail did its job and kept Sebastian's car from going airborne. His Volkswagen Jetta was totaled. Thanks to some legal issues involving debts owed by his late father, Sebastian hasn't gotten any insurance payout, and the car is still wrecked and sitting in his garage over a year later. Thankfully, he didn't have any serious injuries, and he was able to get a different car and is still driving for Uber. He still hopes one day he can fix the Jetta since it was a gift from his father. This submitter and his family, collectively the Brew Crew, were on their way to Idaho from Las Vegas in a new car they just bought a week prior. On their way through a snowy pass, they watched another driver lose control. A white Toyota RAV4 came around the corner too quickly, spinning as it slid past the Brew Crew. They carefully turned around and went back to check on the occupants. Fortunately, everyone was okay, but it looks like the person driving didn't want to anymore as they changed places with a passenger in the back seat. I don't blame them after that slippery experience. The Brew Crew said the unexpected blizzard was a great stress test for their new Crosstrek. They love Subarus and take their road trips very seriously. Blue Rail was driving in Leeds when he came upon a section of road that eventually narrows down to one lane. Oh boy, the YouTube certified driving instructors are really gonna hate me for this one. He did exactly what every transportation official and traffic expert will tell you to do in this situation. He tried to occupy the empty space in the other lane, thereby utilizing the entire roadway and not bunching up traffic. Unfortunately, some Karen tried to stop him from doing this, thinking that he was just trying to cut the line. Eventually, he did manage to get around her, but then she pulled the same thing on the car following him. Then, when the lanes finally merged, she rode the bumper of the car in front of her, preventing Blue Rail from merging like a zipper, exactly like every good driver knows to do. Instead, he had to get behind her. Where's a cop when you need one? Oh well. You're welcome for the driving lesson, and if you still think I'm wrong, try looking it up and see what the real experts say. This submitter was headed home in his Mustang after it had just rained. While passing another Mustang, he accelerated to get out of its blind spot. Unfortunately, this was right on a patch of wet road. The car hydroplaned and lost traction, sending the Mustang into a spin, hitting a sign before finally stopping. Fortunately, he didn't hit anyone else. The car was still drivable after the accident, so our submitter just drove home. He's spending about $2,000 to fix the car himself. Zorro had to take a highway shoulder to avoid a wayward Jeep. He doesn't know if the driver was distracted or just didn't care. Either way, Zorro was nearly sideswiped at highway speed, which could have been disastrous for everyone. This submitter is an Uber driver and was taking a passenger home when another Uber driver cut in front of him after picking up a rider. Our submitter hit the horn and the brakes, but they weren't enough to prevent a collision. At first, the other driver said he'd come back and give his insurance info after dropping off his rider. But then he refused to return and said our submitter would have to sue him in court. So he went ahead and did that. He's now waiting to see what the judge rules, and in the meantime, he has no money to fix his car himself. Wham bam, hang in there, man. Harry was driving in heavy rainfall when he went to overtake a semi. Unfortunately, tire spray from the truck was hiding an oncoming vehicle, and Harry had to slam on his brakes to avoid a head-on accident. As he passed the other car, Harry and his passenger both gestured at the driver to keep his headlights on. What a scary situation. Ben was headed down an Oregon highway with his family when they noticed a Lexus driving with its hazard lights on and following a truck pulling a trailer loaded down with cargo. Suddenly, a refrigerator fell out of the trailer and onto the road. While his friend in the Lexus stopped, the pickup driver didn't even realize what had happened until Ben's wife told him out the window. Ben sends along a shout out for his sons Thanos and Nacho, which are actually their nicknames. The three of them watch our new videos every Sunday. Thanks, guys! This submitter was headed home from work when the driver of a company truck decided to merge into his lane. Our submitter honked and swerved, braking hard to get behind the pickup. The driver didn't react at all, and our submitter wonders what his boss would think of his driving skills. Thankfully, there was no collision. Raccoon Man 99 was driving in Las Vegas when he watched a driver ahead of him with a flashing yellow turn arrow pay the price for failing to yield to traffic with a green light. Raccoon Man 99 stopped and gave copies of his dashcam footage to both parties as well as the police. Raymond and his sister had just started heading home from Maryland when they watched another driver drift into the concrete median barrier.
They have, oh my goodness, what? See that?
It looks like only the tires hit the barrier and the driver was able to safely pull over to the shoulder. Raymond and his sister suspect the driver might have been falling asleep. Brandon came across this lovely light runner in Oklahoma. I know that clip was short, but don't worry because he sent us another one. Still in Weatherford, Brandon came across these upstanding motorists. I especially love how the Challenger driver slows down after they've already completely blocked the road. If you're gonna go, then go. This submitter was riding his motorcycle home when a tree tried to kill him by dropping an overhanging branch onto the road. After circling the block, our submitter went back and removed the branch from the road. Thanks, Hav. You're this week's real MVP. Lucas was headed into Calgary for the weekend when the driver of a white Audi threaded the needle between his car and a large truck. The car was so close, his car's parking sensors were triggered. Considering he's 15 and has only been driving for 3 months, I imagine this was pretty scary. Christian was headed home after a night shift when he approached a red light in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. After watching an oncoming car run the red light, another one went flying past him at 50 miles per hour. Sheesh! Good thing nobody was crossing the street. Christian says people seem to have forgotten how to drive after Hurricane Maria. Ian was on his way to his sister's house when he had a close call with a cyclist. Ian says the inside of his windshield was so dirty he couldn't see the cyclist until he'd already started turning. He's since cleaned it up, and he strongly recommends that everybody do so. Sean's mother was driving his car for the first time when she encountered a fox on the road.
The fox.
That's alright.
Wow.
That's another thing we caught on the dash cam. Nice.
Look at him. Hello, darling. Don't stand on the road, baby.
And if you think that's adorable, wait until you see the next one. Victor spotted a baby fox in Germany. Now that is just too cute. Victor said he had to slam on the brakes for a whole family of them the night before this, but unfortunately, he didn't save the video. Do you have a dashcam video that you want to share with us? Please send the video together with a description of what happened using the link in the description below.